Hello, lovely people. I'm Savannah Willow, and today I will be reviewing for you Modern Magik by Donald Michael Kraig. So, just like an aside here, there's a couple of editions of this book. You can either get the older edition, which is 11 lessons, or you can get I think this is the third or fourth edition, which is it's got some bonus material, and there's a 12th chapter, a 12th lesson. So like I would recommend the 12 lesson version. I did get originally get the 11 lesson version, but I did not read through that original version. I read through the 12 lesson version. So I was recommended this book by a local shopkeeper, metaphysical shopkeeper. We got into a conversation about how I felt more or less that my magical practice could use a little bit more punch. Like I wasn't getting the results that I was really after. And he recommended this as something that could jumpstart my magical practice. So, like, a little bit of background on me. I've been practicing the craft more or less since the age of 14, and I'm now about to turn 46. And I've had a few successes, but magically speaking, I've not been able to like manifest certain things in my life, like a romantic partnership that is still in existence. And more or less, like, I have a lot of money issues. Like, I'm disabled, and I've not been able to find my niche in terms of finding like some type of employment that I could do to get myself off of disability. So like the channel is my attempt to make something of myself, and hopefully like springboard off into an actual professional practice. But back to the book review. I would say this is a valuable book to read. So, what's in it is a series of rituals, if you want to call them that. Um, some of them are very very much rituals. Some are just practices that are meant to jumpstart your abilities. So like certain things in there, like the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram and the middle pillar ritual. There's a couple of other rituals that are from the Golden Dawn. Like those are meant to boost your magical power. Other practices, like for example, doing a reading before you do any type of magic. I did not know about that particular practice until more or less recently. Like I would just like go on gut intuition as to whether or not I should do a particular spell. And I was not asking about what the consequences of any one work would be of my divinatory tools and my spirits, because divinatory tools, in case anyone watching did not know, is simply a way of communicating with the spirit realm. Anytime you read cards, throw runes, throw bones, like you're having a conversation with whatever spirits are in the room. And if you haven't dedicated your tools to a specific group of spirits, like your helpful spirits or your ancestors, your guardian angels, um, just anybody who is around can communicate with you through the use of these tools. And I've in recent years developed practices to dedicate my tools. Like I use work from Starcassus to dedicate my divinatory tools to my helpful spirits. And I recommend checking her work out for those rituals. Like there's Divination Conjure Style is the book that I got my particular dedication ritual out of. But like some people who are in the craft, like they feel like you shouldn't dedicate your tools to any particular spirits because like spirits that just happen to be passing through might have valuable information. So you want to have that information. And there's a valid point there. But you have to like examine what the motivations of those spirits might be and whether or not you want to have a communication with just anybody. So that being said, the book at hand, Modern Magik, 12 Lessons in the High Magical Arts, I would say like the meat and potatoes of or the meat and bones, whatever um, whatever you prefer in terms of terms, um, is just a series of high magical workings and rituals that improve your practice. Although, like, some of it I have problems with. It's very Judeo-centric. So if you're not, like, into Kabbalah, if you're not into the Golden Dawn, it may be something that's not for you. There's also influences for this particular author from Aleister Crowley, who is a very problematic figure. But I don't know of any major authors from like back when I was young that didn't read Aleister Crowley for at least like academic purposes, if not actual, using his work as actual practice guides. We do things differently now in terms of work with the spirit realm. Of late, there is a lot more gentler approaches towards what Christianity and Judeo traditions would term as more or less demons, but really are gods from older traditions. It just depends upon your viewpoint as to how you view these entities, whether you view them as gods or whether you view them as demons. From a very Solomonic perspective, they are technically demons, but just because some spirit is considered a demon doesn't mean you shouldn't ought to work with it. It just means that you need to do your due diligence research and be cautious. You know, this goes for old gods as well. Like, Wiccanism is very optimistic in terms of its outlook on what divinity is, but throughout ancient history in particular, deities were very human, and they had their own personality quirks, and you could piss them off very easily. So, you know, like, use caution when dealing with entities. And another problem that I have with advice given in this book is the author recognizes that some people will use substances to create altered states to work with spirits and entities, and doesn't go as far as to not recommend it, but he says to use caution. I would strongly caution against using any kind of substances to work in the spirit realm. Like, try and achieve spirit flight through other means than using substances. Like, there are safer substances, stuff like mugwort, but it's by no means a safe substance. Like, you can achieve toxicity levels fairly easily, and I would go so far as to say using substances kind of invites in a certain element spiritually that you don't want to work with. Like, you can end up with attachments, and those can be very difficult to get rid of. So I would caution on that. It's very dry work, you know. Like, a lot of older authors that deal in magic are very dry in their approach to magic. It was kind of a hard slog through. I did the audiobook on the first go around, so it was a little bit easier to intake. But I do recommend, if you're going to work with the actual rituals, if you're not going to just do a read through, get a physical copy, because you're going to want to annotate and bookmark and highlight. So you're going to want that physical copy. I have kind of problems with some of the statements made about sex magic. There was a whole chapter towards the end of the book on sex magic, and it was absolutely the most interesting part of the book. I would not necessarily engage in all of the rituals that he gives, mostly because I'm not into ethical non-monogamy or just sex encounters outside of a relationship. That's just my personal preference. Um, Magicians do get up to some very interesting things. Um, some of us do engage in ethical non-monogamy. Some of us do engage in casual sex encounters or sex encounters for other reasons. I would be careful and choosy about who I worked with in terms of sex magic because you're dealing with bodily fluids and in a lot of cases unprotected sex, particularly if you're after um, utilizing elixir. The explanation of elixir that the author gives is that it's a mixing of bodily fluids between male and female. And it kind of excludes LGBTQIA persons. But like there's no getting around it. He advocates for sex encounters with opposite genders, even if you are same-sex attracted, gay or lesbian, for purposes of magic. And I don't know. It's just, it's very exclusionary. And I hate to say it's lazy, but he could have done a little bit more in terms of being inclusive. There are other works that are more geared toward the queer community, especially more recently. So, if you are a part of that community, like, just know that that particular part of the work may not be for you. And I would go so far as to say, like, I'm not doing sex magic. It takes all the fun out of sex. And some people might consider like that type of magic to be like the most fun magic they've ever done. But I would say it is problematic, um, is where I'm going to let that sit. And the whole issue of the suggestion of utilizing substances to achieve altered states, like that's problematic. A lot of the early chapters have rituals in it that are not problematic, and I totally plan on using a lot. Like I've already started using some of them, but like further on, the more complicated stuff, I'm not necessarily going to engage on that level. And I plan on using different systems of magic to augment what I'm learning in this book. So overall, I would say it's a valuable read, but not everything is for everyone in it. So, like, take that under advisement and take what the author says, like his opinions, with a grain of salt, because, like, the advice that I got before purchasing this was to throw out the author's opinions and deal in just the nuts and bolts of what he's saying, because the opinions are kind of bullshit, but the actual nuts and bolts are based in sound magical practice. So that is all I have to say on the subject of modern magic. I'm going to try and post a link. I'm not getting any kind of kickbacks for doing that. I just want to make it easy for people to buy the book. And I'll probably, if you don't want to buy it, like, that's fine too. What I would suggest you do is, if you want to read it and you don't want to buy it, go to your local library. A lot of libraries have a program where, for a nominal fee, they will order a book in, especially for you. Like, some libraries have a requirement that a certain number of people have to request the book, but other libraries are like, yeah, for like, 50 cents, $1, maybe a few dollars, they'll order in a book. So just know that the first time you get it, read it all the way through, because when you put it back in the library, chances are it's going to get stolen by somebody who is desperate for magical knowledge and refuses to return books. Like, that's a big problem for magic books, is, once they're requested, like, the first time you get it, like, you're guaranteed to have it for however long the checkout process is. And you may want to, like, recheck it because it takes a while to slog through. But after that first checkout, you're not guaranteed to have that volume available again, because people will steal it. They will steal it straight off the shelf and not bother checking it out, or they will check it out and not return it. And that's just the way the magical community is. Sometimes, though, the person who has stolen the book is a misguided Christian who thinks that they're doing a service by stealing this book and disposing of it and not having it in the public library. Like, that is a thing too. So just be aware. But do make the attempt if you feel that you don't want to spend the money, or if you feel like more magical materials should be available in your local library. Make the attempt. But anyway, I would like to thank you all for listening. If you liked this review, like, comment, subscribe, hit the little bell icon. It helps people see me in the algorithm if folks interact with the videos. And like, so far, I'm kind of not getting a foothold. So hopefully that will change soon. But yeah, I'm gonna continue doing the videos for YouTube for a while and see if I can make any headway. But as it stands now, I'm not doing too good. Anyway, I'm Savannah Willow. Have a lovely day or night wherever you happen to be.